Most people think expensive toilet paper is better. It's not. The real difference is not softness, it is what is actually in the paper. A 2023 study found PFAS, also known as forever chemicals. They do not break down and can build up in your body. PFAS were found in every brand tested. So in this video, we are ranking 7 levels of supermarket toilet paper from the worst you can buy to level 7, the cleanest option. Angel Soft is made by Georgia Pacific, which is owned by Koch Industries. This is the entry-level budget pick you see on almost every supermarket shelf, and from a health standpoint, it is the worst option of the 7. Here is what most people do not know about cheap toilet paper. The white color you see is not natural. Paper pulp is yellowish brown. To make it white, manufacturers bleach it. Angel Soft uses elemental chlorine-free bleaching, often labeled ECF, which sounds reassuring until you understand what it actually means. ECF bleaching still produces organochlorine byproducts and dioxins as a manufacturing residue. Dioxins are classified as known human carcinogens by the World Health Organization and the Environmental Protection Agency. This is not a fringe claim. Angel Soft uses 100% virgin wood fiber, meaning every roll starts from freshly cut trees with no recycled content at all. The Natural Resources Defense Council publishes an annual tissue report called Issue with Tissue that grades every major brand. Angel Soft received an F with a score of 0 out of 600. Some users have reported allergic reactions and hives, and the brand offers no PFAS testing transparency whatsoever. There are fragrance variants in the Angel Soft line, and synthetic fragrances near mucous membranes are something dermatologists consistently flag as a source of irritation. The honest assessment at this level, this brand is cheap because it cuts every possible corner. The price you pay at the register is not the full price you are paying. That is level 1, the absolute worst option on this list. Now let us move up to level 2, where things might look similar at first, but there is one extra issue that actually makes it more concerning in a different way. Great Value is Walmart's own store brand and one of the most purchased toilet paper products in the United States simply because of the sheer footprint of Walmart stores. Volume does not equal quality. Like Angel Soft, it is virgin fiber with elemental chlorine-free bleaching, Natural Resources Defense Council grade F. But Great Value has one additional health concern that separates it from level 1. Store brand discount toilet papers like this have been flagged in product testing for elevated levels of formaldehyde and optical brighteners. Formaldehyde is used in paper manufacturing as a wet strength resin. It helps the paper hold together when wet. It is also a classified human carcinogen and one of the most well-documented contact allergens in dermatology. The brand offers virtually no ingredient transparency. There is no public disclosure about what chemicals are used in manufacturing, no PFAS testing data, and the manufacturing source is typically a contract facility with minimal consumer oversight. Here is the uncomfortable truth about this tier. The lower you go on price with conventional toilet paper, the higher the likelihood of residual processing chemicals. Manufacturing cost savings come from somewhere, and they often come from less rigorous chemical management. Great Value's only genuine positive is that it dissolves adequately and is rated septic safe, which, given everything else, is a low bar to clear. So that is level 2, still very poor overall. Now stepping up to level 3, this is where we hit one of the most popular brands on the market and where the problems become a lot less obvious but not less serious. Charmin is the most recognized toilet paper brand in America. Procter & Gamble has built a marketing empire around the softness of this product, and to be fair, it is soft. But here is what the marketing will not tell you. In independent lab testing conducted by Momavation and Environmental Health News, Charmin Ultra Soft was one of only 4 brands to test positive for fluorine, the key indicator of PFAS contamination at levels of 10 to 35 parts per million. Researchers believe this contamination comes from the manufacturing process rather than any intentional addition, but the presence of PFAS in toilet paper is particularly concerning for a very specific reason. Linda Birnbaum, the former director of the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, put it directly. Because toilet paper contacts such vascular parts of the body, the exposure pathway is more significant than, for example, PFAS in a food wrapper. Your skin absorbs. That area of your body absorbs more efficiently than most. Charmin also uses ECF bleaching, which stands for elemental chlorine-free, so it is not totally chlorine-free, and trace dioxin exposure remains possible. And here is where it gets worse. Charmin's Ultra Gentle variant, marketed specifically to people with sensitive skin, contains added lotion ingredients, including mineral oil, paraffin, and synthetic emulsifiers. These are petroleum-derived compounds. The product marketed at the people most likely to have reactions is the one with the most added chemicals. That is a remarkable piece of consumer misdirection. That is level 3. More expensive, softer, but still carrying real concerns. Now moving into level 4, we finally start to see some meaningful improvements in how these products are made. Now we start getting into territory where things genuinely improve. Cottonelle, made by Kimberly-Clark, is the first brand on this list that has taken a meaningful step on 2 common chemical irritants. It markets its Ultra Clean line as free from added perfumes and dyes. For anyone with sensitive skin, that is a real and meaningful distinction from levels 1 through 3. Cottonelle is also Forest Stewardship Council certified. The Forest Stewardship Council independently verifies that the fiber sourcing comes from responsibly managed forests. It is not recycled content, but it is a step towards supply chain accountability that the lower levels completely lack. Here is what the Natural Resources Defense Council still holds against it. Cottonelle is virgin wood pulp processed with elemental chlorine-free bleaching, so dioxin-related byproducts remain a concern. The Natural Resources Defense Council grades Cottonelle as C, not the F grade of the major brands, but nowhere near clean. There is also a subtler concern. Good Housekeeping rates Cottonelle highly for wet strength performance. It holds together impressively when wet. That wet strength requires additives, and the most common additive used in high wet strength tissue paper is urea formaldehyde resin. There is no public confirmation that Cottonelle uses this specifically, but dermatologists consistently flag it as a known contact allergen in strong wet strength tissue products. No confirmed PFAS test data is publicly available for Cottonelle in either direction. The honest assessment at this level is that if you are currently using Charmin or Angel Soft, switching to Cottonelle Ultra Clean is a genuine improvement, but it is not the ceiling. So that is level 4, better but far from clean. Now we go to level 5, where things take a surprising turn because this next option improves in ways most people do not expect. Scott 1000 is one of the most interesting products on this list because it does not look premium. It is one ply. It is thin. It is not soft in the way Charmin is soft. And yet, from a chemical safety standpoint, it outperforms almost everything at a similar or higher price point. Here is why. Kimberly-Clark has made one of the clearest public statements of any major brand on PFAS, per, and polyfluoroalkyl substances. They have officially stated that Scott toilet paper is safe and that they do not use PFAS as a component in the production of their toilet paper. That is a direct public claim. Most brands simply go silent on the question. Scott's transparency here is meaningful, even if it is self-reported rather than third-party verified. Scott 1000 is fragrance-free and dye-free. No added lotion. It is consistently rated as the best toilet paper for septic safety. It dissolves faster than virtually any other brand on the market, which also suggests less chemical treatment to maintain strength and texture. It is America's #1 toilet paper by total sheets sold, which speaks to how broadly it is accepted once people try it. Its limitations are real. It still uses ECF bleaching, which means elemental chlorine-free bleaching, so some trace dioxin risk remains, and the NRDC penalizes it for using virgin fiber rather than recycled content. But on the specific health metrics that matter most for personal safety, PFAS, fragrances, dyes, and lotion additives, Scott 1000 performs better than brands that cost significantly more. That is level 5, not perfect, but a clear step up. Now, stepping into level 6, we are getting very close to the best conventional option you can find. Here is something surprising. Quilted Northern is made by Georgia Pacific, the same company that makes Angel Soft at level 1. Same parent company, Koch Industries, completely different health profile. Quilted Northern Ultra Plush uses ECF, elemental chlorine-free, bleaching like most conventional brands, so the dioxin concern does not disappear. What it does not add is equally important. There are no synthetic fragrances, no dyes, no lotion additives, and no extra chemical layers in the Ultra Plush line. You get a clean, high-quality conventional tissue with good processing standards and minimal additive interference. Independent reviews consistently give Quilted Northern high marks for ply thickness, softness, and minimal lint. Low lint in toilet paper is worth paying attention to because excessive lint can indicate higher levels of chemical residue left in the fiber after processing. Clean processing, clean lint profile. There is no confirmed PFAS detection for Quilted Northern in any publicly available lab test. That is not proof of absence, but it does distinguish it from Charmin, which tested positive for PFAS. The NRDC still grades it F, entirely because of its virgin fiber use and environmental sourcing, not because of human health concerns. If the NRDC graded purely on what is in the product versus what is in your body, Quilted Northern would rank considerably higher. At 38 cents per 100 sheets, it is also one of the most cost-accessible, clean profile options on a conventional supermarket shelf. That is level 6, one of the cleanest conventional choices. And now we have reached level 7, the best option you can realistically buy at a typical supermarket. 7th generation is the clear winner among brands you can find on a mainstream supermarket shelf. Not close. Let's go through why. The bleaching process is the first major difference. 7th generation whitens its paper using oxygen, ozone, or hydrogen peroxide, a totally chlorine-free process, also called TCF. No elemental chlorine, no chlorine derivatives, no dioxin byproducts. That alone separates it from every other brand on this list. Remember, chlorine bleaching and its dioxin byproducts are the #1 health concern with conventional toilet paper. Classified as known human carcinogens by the World Health Organization, 7th generation eliminates that risk entirely. It is made from 100% recycled paper. No added dyes, no inks, no synthetic fragrances. It is clinically certified hypoallergenic, specifically recommended for people with sensitive skin, and the dermatological community broadly endorses it for that reason. The Natural Resources Defense Council gives it an A grade, one of the highest possible scores in their annual tissue report. Now, the one thing you need to know, and this is important, a Mamavation Environmental Health News lab test did detect low-level fluorine a PFAS indicator at around 10 parts per million in the recycled version. This sounds alarming. Here is the context. Researchers believe this contamination is incidental, coming from PFAS migrating out of the recycled source materials. Things like food packaging and thermal receipts that end up in the recycled paper stream. This is a supply chain problem, not a manufacturing decision. Seventh generation is not adding PFAS. They are the victim of how widespread PFAS contamination is in paper products globally. To put it plainly, there is no toilet paper on a mainstream supermarket shelf that is completely free of every possible contaminant. That 2023 university study tested 21 brands. Every single one showed PFAS. The question is always relative risk, and on every single axis, bleaching method, additives, fragrances, dyes, hypoallergenic certification, and third-party transparency. Seventh generation is the best option available in a standard supermarket. So if you can only make one swap in your bathroom this week, make it that one. See you at the next breakdown.